the Law and Order MALLER monologue. We open up the crime files, as I am a sucker for these legal stories. But our lead does come out of Boston. We're going to start with that. And some new details have emerged on the random gun show at Logan Airport that happened last week involving an NFL player. We've talked about it a couple of times in recent days, and there's some new information out. The holiday weekend ended. So on Tuesday, if you've not heard the latest, and perhaps not, Patriots defensive back Jack Jones. He's back out there in the spotlight. Jack Jones was arraigned on multiple weapons charges at the East Boston Municipal Courthouse out in front there. Now, did he plead guilty? No, of course not. Why would he plead guilty? Even if you're guilty, you don't plead guilty. But he pled not guilty. Pled not guilty. He posted $30,000 cash bail and is next scheduled to appear in court on August 18th. I believe the Patriots have an exhibition game that night. Well, maybe he can have it in the morning and then show up for the – it's in Wisconsin, though. It's not that far. Go back to Logan Airport. He's very familiar with Logan Airport and can go and maybe make it for that game. But that is the next court date, which these things get moved and pushed back. But don't bury the lead, my man. All right, we'll get to the point here. So the prosecutor laid out the details. Those already were made public. But some more information. They claimed that they found the box – the Glock box, a couple of Glocks were locked in. What's in the box? The Glocks were in the box. 2 guns and ammunition. They were loaded inside a bag, and they had his name on it, Jack Jones.
What's in the box?
The guns. That's what's in the box. And so Jones has been charged with the 2 counts of concealed weapon in a secure area of the airport, possession of ammunition without a firearm, identification card, unlawful possession of a firearm, and also carrying a loaded firearm. And the one that's the worst is the possession of a large capacity feeding device. That is the big one there. And altogether, the big headline the other day, if convicted on all charges and sentenced to the maximum of the law, he would face 30 years in jail. Not going to get 30 years in jail. I'm going to throw away the key. But at age 25, if he gets 5 years in jail, that's a problem. That's an issue. And so he's likely the very minimum, if convicted, he's facing like 3 years in jail. So now we have a new actor that has entered the stage here. And this is his defense attorney, one of the top criminal defense attorneys in Boston, who I had never heard of, and I hope to never cross paths with this woman. Wow, is she next level. So her name is Rosemary Scapiccio. Scapiccio is her name, and she brings the heat here. Now, she said in an opening statement, Rosemary, that her client had no intention of bringing any guns to Logan Airport, that was not his intention. And she said, I expect the evidence is going to show that he had no knowledge of what was going on. So their defense, the opening salvo is like, hey, okay, so somebody else packed the bag. That's got to be the defense, right? That's what she says. She had no knowledge and that he knew what was going on. So that would mean somebody else did that for him. So that's going to be the defense. But then she said, you know what? Let's go next level. This Rosemary, she says, I know. I'm going to play every dirty trick I can play because she's doing this not for you and I. She's doing this for the possible jury pool. So take a listen here as Jack Jones' defense attorney, Rosemary Scapiccio, claimed that her client, the guy that brought the guns, is actually the victim in all this, you see, because you are racist. Take a look.
It's the social media and the media who have turned him into a thug, who have labeled him a thug with no evidence whatsoever. This is not a situation where Mr. Jones ever wanted to be a thug or thought of as a thug. But because he's a young black man, all of a sudden he's a thug. That's what's happened here. There's no evidence of that whatsoever, and it's disrespectful to Mr. Jones and everyone else, every other black man in America who's young and black, to be called a thug because he happens to be black in this situation. This is the institutional racism that we deal with every day in the court system.
Okay. How do you really feel?
Racist.
Oh, clearly. So let us discuss the question. You just heard it. Jack Jones, Patriots, his lawyer, the lawyer represents you. So whatever the lawyer says, that's what the client believes, right? That's why you pay a lawyer to represent you in a court environment. So Jack Jones of the Patriots, his pleading not guilty on gun charges. And what do you make of his attorney here playing the race card from the bottom of the deck? All right, so I've got Roundtable, Community Chest, and Venmo. And we will combine all of these random things together, and we are going to make a headache, which if you had to hang out with this Rosemary, I think you'd have a headache, man. She is ultimate pit bull attorney. That's how a defense attorney out of Boston, like if you were to go to Central Casting in Hollywood, say, what's a Boston defense attorney? This Rosemary. That's it. So we've got Roundtable, Community Chest, Venmo. We'll put this all together. So this is a bad sign for Jack Jones. It is. I love these criminal stories, and doing sports radio, we often talk about criminals because a lot of athletes get in trouble. This is a victimless crime, right? Because he just lame brain. He brought guns. Shouldn't do that. No one was hurt by these particular actions. But he is in deep doo-doo, and here's why you got to think that this is not going particularly well. Because his attorney immediately positioning her client as the victim, claiming institutional racism. Keep in mind, though, of course, as far as we know, maybe we don't know anything, that most level-headed adults would say that it doesn't matter who you are. If you bring guns to an airport, they generally, and I don't want to speak for all TSA, I don't want to do that, but generally my experience with TSA is they normally don't appreciate you bringing your guns to the airport. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they like the guns. Maybe some of them do, and I have no idea. In your carry-on luggage. Now, you can't bring guns. You can just have to check them in. You have to let the people at the airport know and all that. But generally on the carry-on, when you're going to the Cinnabon before you catch your flight, they generally don't like that. But, hey. The other thing is the defense strategy here, which is, I would say, a dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. There is a legal saying that goes something along the lines, the loudest one is the most guilty. That's generally a rule of thumb when it comes to these kind of things. And if you look at the round table, this is the perfect example of my favorite legal quote, which we bring up from time to time. And it goes something along the lines, if you have the facts on your side, right? If you have the facts, meaning you're innocent and you've got the facts on your side that will prove that, you pound the facts, right? And if you have the law on your side, you just pound the law. You say, well, here's a legal loophole, here's the thing, and all that. If you have neither on your side, you just simply pound the table, which is essentially what was going on in this little exercise. That's what it sounded like to me. Now, the other part of this, we have more to dive into with this criminal defense attorney who's a new star. I think this woman's, I don't know how well known, I never heard of her. I mean, you heard of her. I've never heard of her, but she's going places. In that legal world, the slimy legal world, this woman's going to be a big deal if she's not already. I'd never heard of her. So Rosemary Scapicchio was like a fire-breathing dragon outside the courthouse. Now, mind you, nobody in the media brought up, race, thug, gang member. That was her. She had talking points, and she came out there and just took a sledgehammer and went for it. But we have more audio here. She pointed out that the Patriots, I thought this one was interesting, the Patriots came very, very close to pulling the plug on her client. Let's go to the audio tape. Here's how it sounded.
He's a young black man charged with a crime. Therefore, he must want to be a gang member. He must want to be a thug. That label that was attached to him through social media almost got him fired, and it was completely unfounded.
Yeah. I love that we still have cameras that click, 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 click. Like, it's fascinating. Is that just like a flex by the people holding the cameras? Like, hey, I got a real camera. You got your little smartphone camera, but I got my real camera. Play that again. We got to listen to the end of it. You get the click, 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 click. I can take photos with my iPhone. It doesn't sound like that. Listen.
He's a young black man charged with a crime. Therefore, he must want to be a gang member. He must want to be a thug.
To the end here.
That label that was attached to him through social media almost got him fired, and it was completely unfounded.
Sounds like an automatic weapon. It's crazy. It's like, hey, look over here. It's just, it's wild. But that quote right there, that last part, there were two words, almost fired. Rosemary said, Jack Jones' lawyer saying that, the lawyer saying her client was almost fired by the Patriots. How do you read into that? So can you imagine what the sales pitch must have been by Jones and his agent and the attorney to not fire him? I mean, Robert Kraft has had a zero-tolerance policy when it comes to guns because, one of his players was a mass murderer while on the payroll. So since Aaron Hernandez stopped killing people, now he's dead, they generally look down upon the gun show. But yet, Jack Jones is still there. So there's a couple reasons Jack Jones hasn't been released yet. A, is he good, and they need him. B, there is something where the Patriots actually believe he can get out of this. That there's a way you can bring the guns to the airport, have your name on the bag, and not get in that much trouble. That there's a trap door that's going to open up. That you're going to go into the community chest and get the Mr. Monopoly card where he's in the tuxedo there and he gets out of the jail, and then it's your get out of jail free card. That's going to happen. But maybe the prosecutor's a Patriots fan, has season tickets, or he's about to get season tickets for the Patriots, if you know what I'm saying. All right, last word here. So let's pivot quickly because there's another developing legal story in the Law and Order edition of this hour of the Ben Maller Show. And we go Dateline Miami, where the Dolphins are now getting the full Tyreek Hill experience. The cheetah, Tyreek Hill, being investigated, we are told, by the Miami-Dade Police Department. Did he beat up a child or a woman this time? No! It appears a man, I would think. We don't know all the details on this, but he hit a employee at a charter boating company in a marina in Miami. At least that's the investigation. The alleged incident happened on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Let me punch you. That was Tyreek Hill's gift to the person allegedly at the marina. Of course, the Dolphins issued a boilerplate response. You want to take a guess what the Dolphins said? Of course. They said, we are aware of the situation and have been in contact with Tyreek, his representatives, and the NFL. We will reserve further comment at this time. Yes, that is what you always say. So Tyreek Hill being investigated by assault. Is there something to the story? Is there something to the story? So there's obviously something here. It sounds at this point, based on the early reports, that at this moment, the person who was violated with a physical contact from Tyreek is not looking to press charges. So he's not in like Jack Jones trouble. He doesn't need to hire Rosemary as his defense attorney. But as I understand the Florida law, and I don't understand the Florida law, but I can pretend to understand the Florida, I looked it up, and based on my research, if it is the way it's being described here, that Tyreek got into a disagreement and ended up giving a wallop to this person at the marina, the track record's not good for Tyreek. There's a pattern here. He clearly missed the day in kindergarten when they said, keep your hands to yourself. He must have been sick that day. But in terms of actual trouble, no. Because it depends, obviously, if he is charged. But someone who it's a second-degree misdemeanor, most likely. Unless there's more to the story that we don't know about. But based on the information available, it's a second-degree misdemeanor. And if convicted, he would spend up to, that's weasel terminology, legal weasel terminology, up to, and also in shopping online or whatever, 60 days in jail, and also be fined. He'd get probation for a few months and then have to pay a fine of $500. So from what I've heard, he was on this boat with his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, So what's likely going on right now, if I were to just kind of throw out into the ethos what I believe is happening, the agent for Tyreek Hill is negotiating with the chartered boat company, saying, I have a lot of very wealthy clients who like to go on chartered boats. And if you don't press charges, then we will continue to send my clients on said chartered boats, and I'll give you a little check to make you feel a little better. Yeah, well, go on vacation.